We're in the late 1930s and Bugsy, yes, Bugsy the gangster has come to town. His full name is Benjamin Bugsy Siegel. He grew up in New York's Hell's Kitchen, started off by being a substance pusher. And then he started bootlegging, when liquor was not legal, and he was selling it. Your dude was a cold-blooded unaliver running the streets. However, he was also a cutie. They describe him as the sexy psycho, and he often hung out with the Broadway showgirls. Now get this, he discovered while in New York in 1936 that a Chicago mob was trying to take over Hollywood. He was like, screw that. He got up and he was like, let me beat them to the punch. So he grabbed several of his rugged friends, 6 to be exact, rented a mansion in Hollywood. It was a Met Opera star, Lawrence Tibbett. He rented his mansion and stayed in there. And of course, he got cozy with the Hollywood society. You could say he was in like Flynn. In the beginning, he dated Countess Dorothy Taylor DeFresco. She was a wealthy socialite. And she was a female minister. They call it ministress. Bugsy pretty much fed on extras and like little players, actors and actresses and stuff like that in Hollywood. He made about $500,000. He got fed off the producers for like mob scenes and stuff like that. So if they were about to do a movie and they did not pay up, then none of their extras would show up to work. Also, he was slinging substances through Hollywood. So, the actresses and actresses and everybody in Hollywood, he was the go-to man. Also, if you wanted it a little pay for play with the females, it didn't specifically said females. When I put in, it's called white slave traffics. And when I looked at the definition, it usually said females who perform services. So that's what I got. That's what I'm saying. So he had his hands in everything. Get this. He had got indicted for the unaliving of Harry Greenberg. Greenberg, he was another mobster. However, he decided, I'm going to tell on everything and everybody that I know. Of course, that didn't last because while Bugsy was in, he was denied bail, by the way. But get this, he's sitting up in jail and they was like he would go in and out of jail as if it was a hotel. For example, one day, they let him out for like a dental, and I'm quoting, a dentist appointment. So he was handcuffed to a cop, and the cop turned in the cuffs so that he can feel comfortable during his dentist appointment. And he was with his current flame, Wendy Barry. Eventually, you do know his charges were dropped. And his lawyer was none other than Jerry Geyser, the ace in the hole. When he was released, he had to donate $50,000 to a re-election campaign for District Attorney Doc Weiler. Go figure. Hollywood is extremely crooked and politics is extremely crooked. Now get this. The next big fling he had, her name was Virginia Sugar Hill. That name is so familiar. They label her as queen of the mafia. She had had affairs with other mobsters like Luciana and Frank Castillo in about the 1940s. She set up operations in Hollywood and got herself acting gigs. She did an acting gig in Ball of Fire, and she had Bugsy escort her to the premiere of the movie. It's funny because his name is Bugsy Siegel, and now I understand the whole Beanie Siegel thing. Hip hop likes to take names of actual gangsters and mobsters and put it in their names. Once Bugsy also got booked for bookmaking charges, and then he had George Raft take the witness stand. And he's like, I've known this decent man my whole life. Now, Raft was best buddies with Leo DeRocher, and he was the manager of the Brooklyn Dodgers. Bugsy is known for Vegas. He had his eyes on the prize, baby. Now, this reminds me of Casino. They're saying the movie industry was bought out of the Depression because they wanted the entertainment. So he's like, I want to give y'all entertainment, all right. Everybody was cracking down on gambling spots and stuff. So in 1944, he passed through Las Vegas. And it was a sleepy town. It was so undeveloped. It was like living in a Western, a ghost town. So he came up with a scheme to build up the biggest hotel casino in the United States. And it would make Monte Carlo look like peanuts. So he borrowed several millions of dollars from shady sources. But he is the shady source, I thought. He bought land all around this little tacky hotel owned by a widow that was going bankrupt. So you already know what happened. If he even paid the lady, that's all I got to say in my head. Because I'm like, I wonder if he even threw her a bone. But knowing these crooked people, they probably didn't. He moved in with a whole bunch of architects, decorators, and entertainers. At this time, though, because of the war, it was a lot of scarce supplies going on, especially if you wanted luxury. And he wanted his thing luxurious. So he knew Lucky Luciano, who had been banned and exiled to Italy. But he was able to get together a whole bunch of marble imported from Italy to Vegas. And just like that, the Flamingo was born. It flourished. Well, it's still flourishing. You know how it did. It was open Christmas 1946 and it cost $6 million. It was slowly earning its money back and Vegas wanted to expand. However, he had a big argument with Virginia. She packed up and left town in spring 1947. When she left in style. Your girl rented a castle in Beverly Hills, 810 Linden Drive. We got to look at that picture. And of course, Bugsy trailed right after her, trying to get a little reconciliation. In the middle of all that, she accepted somebody else's invitation to travel around Europe with some wealthy French boy. And he was half her age. She left Siegel in the house and the keys. One day, midnight, June 20th, same year, 1947, Bugsy Siegel was sitting in the living room reading a newspaper. And all of a sudden, you hear shattered glass. There, Bugsy Siegel lay on the couch, and his face was no longer pretty anymore. He was gone. Blood everywhere. And of course, the police investigations got nowhere. Of course, gangsters do gangster stuff, right? And who's going to tell on a gangster? He often turned up at everybody's funerals and events and stuff like that. How about nobody came to his? So that must show you what kind of person he was. The rumor is that he wasn't paying back a lot of his debt he owed when he built this big casino in Vegas. So that's how it goes, baby. Anyway, again, with this book, you got to put two and two together. So remember, they did tell us that Virginia always put together a whole bunch of operations, and she had a lot of friends, a lot of exes that were all mob related. So she was a girl's girl. She was a mob girl. Not to mention, remember, they had gotten into an argument and he followed her back to Hollywood and he was in her house laying on her couch when he unalived. So somebody got the drop on him, location and everything. So, and she was, quote unquote, out of town. I am still loading up the book, Hollywood of Babylon. We're going to get through this as soon as possible. If you missed anything, go to the playlist, Hollywood of Babylon, to catch up and like, comment, and subscribe. If you like what you hear, let me know. And if you want to hear something else, let me know that too. Enjoy. It's Amina Seen It.